Hey everyone, welcome back. My name's dustinkreis, and I just got a text. And we're going to talk about a video game. We're going to talk about this game right here, Bioshock Infinite. And this is probably going to be a difficult game discussion. Not because the game is bad. This game is fantastic. This is a brilliant fucking game. It's going to be difficult because this is a game that touches on a subject that I like to wax poetic about. And even when I wax poetic about it, I lose my train of thought every now and then and just start rambling. So I'm going to attempt not to ramble, but I love like interdimensional theories and things like that. And that's what Bioshock Infinite is all about. Just a fantastic game. Just from a gameplay standpoint, if you love everything that you loved about Bioshock is here. It's a little further refined. There are some things that I really don't understand why they took out. But, yeah, if you're a fan of this series, this is a no-brainer to pick up. And while I'm going to have to think long and hard whether I enjoyed this or Fire Emblem more, oh god, it's a tough fight. But, yeah. Irrational Games, as far as I'm concerned, you guys can keep making Bioshock games, and I will keep buying them, because I love the ideas that they present, and I love, there's just so much thought put into the games. Much more so than any other games I really feel like I've played. And that includes a lot of these big RPGs. I feel like, Irrational Games is really putting the effort into creating something that is just a piece of art. And all of the games, even Bioshock 2, which most people don't really care for as much, I think are just absolutely brilliant. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I'm not going to talk about the story other than just the premise, which is you are Booker DeWitt, and you're sent to the floating city of Columbia in order to abduct, kidnap, rescue, however you want to put it, this girl Elizabeth. Because you are in debt, and this is how you're going to wipe the debt clean. And from there, it's Bioshock. Things get crazy, and I don't want to spoil the story, but my friend Steven, the Laggy Gamer, I saw on his Facebook, he talked about how he guessed the ending. I guess I was leaning more towards a different guess with my guess on the ending. But now that I, have seen the ending and I look back on the game, hindsight's 20/20. It's like, whoa, that all makes sense in a very quantum mechanic tangent universe sort of way. Even there, I might have just said too much, but I can't help but just fall in love with the ideas that Irrational Games presents. And with this game, they definitely go for broke. Rapture in the first Bioshocks it was very fantastical, but it was also grounded in sort of a reality. You almost feel like Rapture could be a real city. And maybe that's a point where Bioshock Infinite kind of lost me a little bit, is that I thought maybe Columbia was a little too fantastic. A floating city in 1912. I mean, we always, have that steampunk, genre out there and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's almost too much to really, get immersed in, I guess. That being said, Columbia still is, as much as Rapture was fully fleshed out, Columbia is as fleshed out as that. The only thing with it is I find, and this might be because Rapture has had 2 games about it and a book, so it feels like a really fleshed out city. Whereas Columbia, I feel like there's still a lot of mystery involved in Columbia. And truth be told, I might have missed a lot of audio logs. I didn't do, when I played Bioshock and played Bioshock 2, the first time I played through it, I just played through it to try to beat the storyline, just to see what's going on. Stupid phone. Um, and then I go back and play it again and really explore the environments. And that's what I'm really looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to going back in and exploring this town, seeing everything that's in it, because I did kind of breeze through a lot of spots in it. But yeah, like I finished the game and I don't even really know. I kind of know what the songbird is, but I really want it to be explained to me, like what the songbird actually is. That is one of the great creations of this game. So much so that the Big Daddy, was such a big part of the first Bioshock game. Songbird is just as big. The sort of stuff that you see out there make you think the handyman would be more of the villain that you associate with Big Daddy, but there's just something about the songbird that whenever you hear that melody and it's coming for you, I mean, it's always presented in sort of a cutscene manner, but it always kind of quickens the pulse when you hear that flute chime start playing. But yeah, compared to Bioshock 1, I would say I still feel that Bioshock's Rapture is a much more realistic world, where this is kind of more fantastical, but that goes in line with what the story's presenting as well. So, they start talking about quantum mechanics and quantum entanglement and things like that, and then you see a building floating in the air. You're a little bit, past the edge there. But still, really a fantastic environment, a fantastic world to explore. I love how each of these games it makes you think a little bit. Bioshock 1 was very against the right-wing sort of capitalist mindset. It's just showing how that can go completely wrong. And then Bioshock 2 took the opposite effect and showed what the more communist, communal mindset, how that could go horribly wrong. Bioshock Infinite shows, how do I want to put this? It sort of shows how religion and patriotism can go horribly wrong. And, how it's really kind of a critique on sort of America and how America is nowadays, which I really want to see what people in other countries think of this game, because playing this, I couldn't help but think, like, wow, they're really commenting on the fact that, religion and government are being so intertwined nowadays. We have this whole big thing with the Supreme Court talking about gay marriage and all that stuff, and there might, the Defense of Marriage Act might get repealed in the states. We'll see. But, this whole thing about how sort of religious moralism and American patriotism are so interlocked that you can't be one without the other. And this game kind of shows how that can go horrifically wrong, to the point of, secluding, other minorities and things like that. And really, I mean, it's kind of a sign of the times. 1912 wasn't the most inclusive time in American history. But it really makes you think, like, should our government leaders, be religious figures as well, and, things like that. I mean, even, me, who's more of a liberal person, when I look at sort of the election of Barack Obama and sort of the iconography that went with it, it's almost like he was a religious figure in a lot of ways. And that always kind of bothered me, because this is just a dude that we put in office to, do our bidding, I guess. But, and then to sort of have that religiousness. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. I told you I would. I really like the ideas that they present with these Bioshock games. It really makes you think, and it really makes you want to go out and, like, look into these philosophies and see how, patriotism can be a bad thing. Everyone talks about, being a patriot in America and how that's a great thing. The Nazis were very patriotic in their own country, and we viewed them as bad, the Muslim insurgents are being very patriotic for their cause, and we view that as a bad thing. It's all in the eye of the beholder, and you really have to kind of temper that a little bit with some, rationale and common sense. It's not just, American flags and we're all great. There really is some issues we have to deal with, and this kind of a video game, makes you think about that, make you think, wow, we think we're the greatest in the world, but we really have a long way to go. So that in and of itself is a reason why to play Bioshock Infinite, because it presents you with a world and says, this could happen. Maybe not floating cities, but the racism and the awfulness, the seediness of Colombia, it could happen in a lot of ways. So, anyway, we need to get on with this. I really like these big thoughts in these games, and I'm always pleased with what Bioshock brings to the table. Gameplay-wise, if you've played Bioshock 1 or 2, you know exactly what you're getting into here. The only real change to the game, gameplay-wise, is you can only carry 2 weapons at a time, instead of having, sort of all the weapons. Could you only carry 2 weapons at a time in Bioshock 1 and 2? Or did you have them? I think you had them all on a wheel. I can't remember. You might be able to. I don't know. The Skyhook. Columbia is a very much more open world than Rapture ever was. Rapture was very claustrophobic, and that really sold the atmosphere. Whereas Columbia, it's in the clouds, very open. So they had to think of a new way of getting around the town instead of going through these sort of claustrophobic doors. And what it is like a monorail track. Well, it's not a monorail track, but it's got 2 tracks on it. But you can jump up and grab onto it with a hook and just zip around town like a zip line. It really is quite awesome to get that feel of speed. And some battles actually kind of take place on the zip line a little bit. So it really is kind of a cool little thing that they threw in there. And it's totally something that they could not do in Rapture at all. But yeah. One criticism about the gameplay in this. There's no map. I don't know why. But, when you're trying to find... when you're trying to find the audio logs and just all the hidden stuff in this game, which there are tons of hidden stuff in this game, you can just, explore for hours in a first-person shooter. Fucking nuts. It really would help if you had a map in this game. And I don't know, you had a map in Bioshock 1 and 2. I don't know why for Infinite they took it out, but it was sorely, sorely missed. Another big thing about the gameplay that's kind of off-putting is it relies totally on autosaves, okay? Now, I had an issue where I stopped playing, and I picked it back up like a couple hours later, and realized I was about 20 to 30 minutes behind where I left off, where I stopped the game. Now, that's not a big deal, because I like exploring in this game, and it didn't take me that long to get back to where I was. But my friend Steven the Laggy Gamer, apparently he lost about 2.5 hours because his game didn't autosave for some reason. I don't know why, but I really wish these games, if it doesn't have a save point that I can go back to, at least let me pause it and save from the pause menu, like Ease does and things like that. So I understand how that can be abused in a lot of ways, but not so much because, it's not like I'm going to save before a boss battle, and if I die, well, I can just reload the save. Because just like Bioshock 1 and 2, when you die, you are revived not too far from where you left off. But instead of a Vita chamber, Elizabeth will revive you. And that actually brings a big change to the Bioshock universe in terms of gameplay. You have a companion with you during most of the game. Elizabeth runs around with you, and she's always scrounging for stuff. If you're using your... they're called Vigors in this game, but they work the same as Plasmids, although there are some really cool ones in this game that I really like Murder of Crows. If you use all your salts, and you're running low on magic ability, she will go and scrounge up a container of salt for you and throw it to you so you can recharge your salts. If you're running out of ammo, she'll find ammo. If your health is really low, she will get health for you. It kind of makes the battles a little bit easier, although I did die quite a bit in this game. But yeah, it really does kind of change the entire landscape of the game, because no longer are you by yourself in this submerged city. You actually have a companion with you in this, you know, more vibrant, alive Columbia. It really does kind of change the whole game in a lot of ways. But like I said, it is the great and true Bioshock formula. You know, you have your guns and weaponry, and you also have your plasmids or vigors to complement them. So combat is always fun in this game, and the enemies are a lot of fun to fight as well. Music. When you hear a barbershop quartet on a airship singing God Only Knows 54 years before it was even written, you know something's up. But it's really cool how they incorporated all of these more modern songs into this world. And it'll make sense once you start exploring the world and figuring out what's actually going on. But probably the best piece of music in this game, and Steven and I were talking about it, is Will the Circle Be Unbroken? Because it just ties so well into the narrative and what the narrative's trying to get across. And if you really listen to that song and listen to the lyrics and kind of think about it, you might figure out the ending of the game before you get to it. So if you want to explore that spoiler before you get to the end of the game, there you go. Think about Will the Circle Be Unbroken? But even the more orchestral music is just phenomenal. And I really wish there was a soundtrack to this game. I think there was one for Bioshock, the first two Bioshocks, so hopefully there's one for this one too. I need to look for those. I really do. Although most of the Bioshock 1 and 2 music I have, because I have a lot of like 40s, 50s, and 60s sort of standards, I guess. And what's left? The graphics. The graphics are beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I notice some pop-in every now and then. And of course the PC is going to have better graphics than the 360 and the PS3. But they really, when you see how big Columbia is and how open it is compared to Rapture, because Rapture was more hubbed out, whereas Columbia feels very open. It is kind of a graphical marvel. Yes, if they would have held out for the PS4, it would look that much better. But I have no complaints about, you know, Bioshock's graphics. You know, like the first Bioshock, when it came out, people weren't too, you know, they liked the graphics, but they weren't like mind-blowing. I wouldn't say these are mind-blowing either. They're just gorgeous. You know what I mean? Not everything has to reinvent the wheel. But when you're just running around and you see how vibrant of a city Columbia is, and you see all the clouds and how like the light plays with the clouds and stuff, it really is just a beautiful, beautiful game. So, yeah, guys, I've rambled on a bit in this video, and if I offended anyone, well, that's your problem, not mine. But Bioshock Infinite, I cannot recommend this game enough. I think this is just fantastic. I think this game does fantastic things for our hobby by taking it seriously. It's not like fucking Duke Nukem or Devil May Cry that's just, you know, having a fun time with violence and cursing and all that shit. This is actually a game with weighty themes on its mind, and themes that I think a lot of people really need to think about more often. And I hope that when people play Bioshock, they just don't get that fantastic game. I really hope it inspires them to sort of look into more of the world around them, because I think that's what Bioshock does. It kind of makes you aware of things that you might not have been aware of before. So that's just my view on it. You can totally play this game just for the shits and giggles of it and have a great time. But if you want to, you can explore the deeper meanings of the game if you want. So anyway, guys, if you're on the fence about picking up Bioshock Infinite, you don't need to play 1 and 2 to get this one. There is some callbacks every now and then to the first games, but storyline-wise, you don't need to play them. It's kind of its own beast. But I recommend playing the other two games. I recommend playing all 3 Bioshocks. But yeah, if you're on the fence about picking this up, just go buy it. You can wait till it gets cheaper, but you know, whatever. It's worth the $60. So anyway, guys, that is it for Bioshock Infinite. I'm going to go try to figure out what I'm going to play next. So thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.